Howdy, folks. What's going on tonight? How's everybody doing on this 6/6/21? Bombastic reviews. What's going on, brother? Indie Phantoms. Curious about what films make the cuts. Well, this isn't like a definitive list we've been working on a while. It's pretty easy to come up with a list of terrible slasher movies. I had to refresh my memory on quite a few of these. I have a weakness for slashers as well. I am pretty forgiving. But most of these, man, like there's one that I don't even have. I'm hoping Uncle Bill has, if we can do a show and tell. But yeah, there was one that was so bad that I bought it and just immediately, I think I gave it away. I was like, yeah, I'm never going to watch that again. But at one point, I think it was worth quite a bit of money until it was re-released on Blu-ray a couple of years back. It was we were talking about this on the Midweek Obliteration podcast. There was a company, Platinum Disc Corporation. Their business model was pretty much bootleg movies, I think. Official bootleg movies. So I think it was one of their discs. So, Aiden Vavra. What's up? John Cressip. How you doing, brother? The Oily Maniac on Twitch, dude. And for those that do not know, we do have a Twitch. It is Into the Dead Pit on Twitch. So we are awaiting Uncle Bill. Fashionably late. But this show is his idea. So hopefully he shows. I think the concept of the show is he wanted to do one stream of underrated slashers, the worst slashers, stuff like that. And I was like, let's just do separate streams. I mean, come on, we can talk about bad slasher movies, for at least an hour or two, So we're planning on that. And we both also checked out Conjuring 3. What was it? The devil made me do it. Was that it? Yeah, that's it. I remember that. The third Conjuring film. We'll be talking about that one as well as this show goes along. Bradley Taylor. I hope Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, the Child's Play remake, and I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu make the cut. Well, they all definitely deserve to make the cut. But again, this isn't a top 10 list or anything. We're just kind of saying, hey, Terror 10 Killer, let's talk about it. Just an example. So, I'm not good at doing lists. Oh, speaking of the devil.
Hi.
It's Uncle Bill.
Oh, God.
They'll get you in the end. I don't think that works
I just
very well.
saw that. No, it didn't work at all. But
you're missing Merle, man. You can't see Merle.
It's a fucking killer logo, though.
We'll go, yeah. Here we go. Ooh, yeah. That's some just general horror wallpaper. So, what's going on with you tonight, Uncle Bill?
Well, not a whole lot. I just got done watching something we're going to be talking about, and not too long ago. And I'm still depressed about that.
Did the devil make you do it?
Yeah, the devil.
Maybe I am the devil.
Yeah, in that case, that fucking movie, you certainly are. God. But also, I've been playing, no shit, Clue.
With your balls? Oh, no.
Yeah. I've been playing old school Clue. And here's something I noticed, by the way. And I don't know, you probably haven't played Clue in 30 years, and neither had I, but right. Like, they've got a new Clue thing that I bought at Walmart. And they took out Mrs. White and added this character called Dr. Orchid. And I was like, why would they? And then I got started thinking about it. So Dr. Orchid is like Asian, and Mrs. White was, of course, Mrs. White. You know that's why they did that too. Like just
in 5 years they're not going to be able to say Mr. or Mrs. because it'll offend somebody.
That's true. That's true.
We don't need to get into that, but
no. But I'm seriously telling you though. That, like, there's no other reason for them to change that character than just to have like a character that was ethnic, and there's just something about that that's just fucking silly.
It's like the Barbie commercial that has the one black kid in it or the one Asian kid in it with the two white kids.
Yeah, like, I don't understand it, man. Like, that game had been around for what, probably 40 years or something. Like, there was no reason to do that, even before.
Is Colonel Mustard still there?
Yeah, you got Colonel Mustard still there, yeah.
Okay. I'm just
it's a good game, though.
Some people are allergic to mustard, and they might be offended by that.
I'm offended.
I hate mustard.
I hate plums. Professor Plum's in this game.
I did have that board game growing up, but yeah, I was the kind of kid that would get pissed off if he lost or something like that, and I would just give the rest of it away after I got beat.
That definitely sounds like something you would do too.
Yeah. So, the worst slasher films of all time, Uncle Bill. It's not a top 10 list or anything. We didn't go that far. But I picked out some movies here, most of which I have on VHS. I still have VHS. So we'll be basically just talking about them. Like, most of these movies, like Bradley up here is talking about a lot of stuff that I do remember closely, and they probably are some of the worst ever, like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, the Child's Play remake. I haven't seen I Spit on Your Grave Deja Vu.
I haven't either.
But I'm sure it's terrible. But most of the ones that I'm going back to, there's one that's from like the early 2000s that I had to bring up because I don't know if we've ever talked about this movie on the show. And then most of the rest of them, I think, are the 80s.
Well, here's the thing. Like, one of the things that I tried to do with this is not to pick remakes, just because, like, there's so many of those that would make that list. And, I mean, I can talk about some of them. Mm-hmm. It'd be fairly obvious, too. But, like, I tried to pick stuff that wasn't a remake. Like, something that was, like, an original film, because there's way too many options if you start getting into like all those 2000s era remakes.
Oh yeah. I mean, the Prom Night remake, for instance, it's definitely one of the worst slasher movies of all time. I mean, if you call it a slasher movie, it's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
there's not really any blood.
I mean,
or anything.
If you really want to get into it too, I'd call the latest Black Christmas remake one of the worst fucking slasher films ever. And it wasn't even a slasher film. It was almost the same kind of thing. Like, originally it was a slasher film, but they remade it into something that was just totally bullshit.
Like something off of like the WB back in the day or whatever it is now that people like.
It really is like that.
My TV original movie or something. So
a lot of these though I don't have either. I want to be clear on that too. Like, I have them, but they're DVDs that are out. Like, I've boxed up the majority of my DVDs, and they're out in the garage. So I don't have like a physical copy that I can show or anything, because I'm not going to buy a Blu-ray or something that is a piece of shit.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
no.
knowingly anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anybody has any they want to mention here that we don't talk about, go for it, and we will try to recollect. Most of the ones that I picked out were just, and there were a lot of these in the early 80s, movies that instantly put you to sleep, that you cannot really remember hardly anything about. And I did go back and try to, if not watch some of it, get a review on it or something to kind of, get my brain flowing a little bit. So
right.
Some of these, and there's one in particular, I guess we'll kick it off, hell.
Okay.
With this one, because I watched it one time The only time that I ever watched it, and I think it was one of the Platinum Disc Corporation movies. Do you remember that? They basically did bootlegs, I think.
Yeah.
They did Trick or Treat, and there's a lot of them. The Final Terror. Do you remember this movie at all?
I do, yeah.
I think it's the first movie Daryl Hannah was ever in. So, this was around the early 2000s when I was going back, and a lot of this stuff was coming out on DVD for the first time. And I kept hearing everybody talk about the Final Terror, the Final Terror. And I think this one is from like the early 80s, like 81, 82, something like that. First movie I think Daryl Hannah was ever in, like I said. And I remember one night, because I'd get in the habit of I'd go pop popcorn, put my DVD in, and just almost instantly fell asleep, right? It seems like it was instantly.
Yeah.
But it was like I was kept waiting. It was one of those movies that I kept waiting and just waiting for anything to go down in it. And some people actually hold this up as one of the better slasher movies. I know Dana. Happy birthday, Dana, by the way. It's her birthday.
Oh, is it her birthday?
She puts over... She's a big fan of a few of these movies.
Oh, my God.
So, watch The Final Terror, Dana. Enjoy it, but... damn, man. That's one that was so bad that I think I gave it away or sold it almost instantly. I didn't keep it. I was like, I'm never watching this again. I think the Scream Factory came out with a Blu-ray not too long ago, though.
I think they did, because I remember the cover of it. I'm not entirely positive I've ever seen it, but I definitely remember the cover for some reason. Like, that's one of the more distinctive things about the movie.
It's got a cool cover art on here, and we've gotten a ton of comments. I'm falling behind here, bulls. We got a $5 super chat. I definitely got to mention him. Black Christmas 2019 was a PC feminist plug. It's from JP Fan 1989. I haven't watched it, but he's asking about the original. Somebody else mentioned that too. The original Scream movie from 1981.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not positive I've ever seen it. Is that another one Scream Factory came out with? Somebody re-released that recently.
I think it was Code Red.
Oh, okay.
Or Scorpion or one of those companies like that. If I'm not mistaken. But I did pull it out because somebody did mention it here. I have seen it, but I don't remember it at all. But I've heard numerous people say that it's terrible, so I believe them, But, this one is really kind of hard to even search for. I got the VHS back in the day on eBay because you put Scream VHS on there, and that was the only way to watch it for a long time. But, but Final Terror is... I know some people like it, but it's the same bunch of people that like almost everything.
Well, let's see if you remember this one then, because it's kind of along the same lines. And I remember, like, you and I watched this together many moons ago, and we were like super excited about it because the cover on it was fucking killer, and like, I don't know, it just looked like it was going to be like a great typical 80s slasher. Do you remember Madhouse from 1981?
There was a Vincent Price movie called Madhouse.
No, this is not that one.
Okay, remind me then.
Well, other than here's the thing, like, we started watching it, and it's one of those movies that is so fucking slow in the beginning that I think I either fell asleep, you either fell asleep, we both fell asleep. Mm-hmm. Something happened, and I'm not positive we ever made it through it, but I think we tried to rewatch it or something. I'm not sure I've ever made it through that film without falling asleep. But it's just one of those that moves at such a slow pace.
Did anybody come out with that recently on anything? Or
That's a good question.
For some reason, I just keep thinking of the Vincent Price movie.
Well, I looked it up. This one doesn't really have anybody I've ever heard of in it, and I don't think I ever knew, like when we were watching it, anybody either. Directed by Oviedo G. Alcinides. No idea.
I will make a piece of shit.
But it definitely left an impression on me, just because I was really upset by how bad it was. And there's been a bunch of movies like that where people hyped them up. Like, people would talk about them and we'd watch them and it'd be just awful. Like Raw Meat, I think was another one like that.
That's a British one, right? It had Vincent Price in it.
And people were like...
Some people like it, though. I mean, Bloody Murder. JP fan mentioned that one as well. They had like 2 or 3 Bloody Murder movies back in the day. Wasn't Tiffany Shepis was in one of them Bloody Murder movies. Bloody Murder 2, I think. Yeah,
she was in one of them. That's the one with the cheap, like, Jason mask that looks like a fucking...
Yeah, you would see that in
Halloween
video stores quite a bit back in the day, because this was during a time frame when there was no Jason movies coming out, and they were definitely marketing those covers to the Friday 13th fans. So
yeah,
Strange Tennessean's got an interesting one here that I would have never thought of. Cry Wolf.
I wouldn't either. We saw that at the theater, and I agree with that wholeheartedly, because it was boring as fuck. And John Bon Jovi's the... spoiler alert, if you didn't know, Bon Jovi's the killer.
Oh, halfway there.
But that really wasn't even the worst part about the movie. The worst part was just how fucking slow and boring it was. That's the thing about slasher films. Like, they exist really for one purpose, and the worst thing you can do with a slasher film is make it, like, dull or boring, or have, like, 1,000 subplots where it's like a mystery you're trying to figure out, who the killer is, but it goes like 15 different directions.
What year was Cry Wolf? I'm trying to think. Usually I'm pretty good with years, but it's like 2002, maybe 2003, something like that.
That sounds right. Somebody on there will know.
Yeah. So yeah, Cry Wolf. It was a one-time watch. That's one of those movies too. I mean, we could do a whole show on movies that were never made. Basically, like they were made, but nobody ever said, like, it's the first time I think we've ever talked about Cry Wolf on the show.
I think it is. Like, it may as well just never have existed, really, for a lot of different reasons. But that's a good point.
Grande Graveyard. Go ahead, sorry.
A lot of people think, and this is no shit, that House of Wax is one of the worst slashers. The one that we watched.
That's a classic compared to some of this shit.
That's true. Terror on Tour, I know we've both seen that.
Yeah, so I was going to pull that out because...
He's got it.
Bulls, right? And you'll see this a lot too. A lot of these slasher movies, and this is one of them, from this time frame, half of the movie, it looks like it was filmed in a basement or something like that. Like, they are so dark. And you can't make out half of anything that's on the screen. So, in this movie's case, that's kind of a good thing. Because this is 90 minutes of your life that you'll never, ever get back. Whenever you. So, I would advise you, if you want to watch it, but have a podcast on, listen to that. Put Black Sabbath's Heaven and Hell on in the background. And it might be a little bit enjoyable, but that would be the only enjoyment. Because, and this is another one that poor old Dana, happy birthday, Dana, loves Terror on Tour.
That's funny because I actually do remember her saying that, and I also remember never being able to understand how anybody could love that movie.
Dude,
but
here's another weird thing, too, because I was just curious about this. I got this at a convention probably 10, 15 years ago for $1. Okay?
Yeah.
Look this son of a bitch up on eBay right now. I can't believe it. There's a couple of these on here that's like this. So this one is one that has never, ever been re-released. It's never been on DVD. I don't know what the deal is with it. I mean, Vinegar Syndrome technically they should be putting something like this out, but the price of that's just freaking skyrocketed. The video, so I
can believe that, definitely. So,
oh God, right. Somebody's running toward you. They're gonna get you, Uncle Bill.
So, I just want to talk about this one because of how fucking mad that it made me. That I watched this before Vinegar Syndrome came out with it, and I remembered it being really, really bad. But I was like, I'll just buy it because it'd been like 15 years since I'd watched it. I was like, I bet, you sit down and watch it again, it'd probably be better, or, you just weren't paying attention before. It's equally as bad, no matter how many times I've seen it, which is Cutting Class.
Yeah, I know that. I know you'd mention that one.
Listen, I don't know how to explain how bad this fucking movie is, but everything, like, about a bad film is in there. Like, the pace is awful. The direction is, like, completely pointless. It has, like, so many, like, sub-characters that you never really understand why they're even in the movie. And they don't even really get killed off. They just have these ridiculous, like, kind of little side things that never go anywhere. And it's just nothing happens in it forever. Like, for the first probably fucking hour or something, nothing happens in it. You're just in a high school with a bunch of kids and Brad Pitt, and they're just going through their day-to-day bullshit. And then,
how many deaths in it? I know there's not very many.
Not very many. I couldn't tell you like right off the top of my head, but it's not like a typical, every 15 minutes or something there's a kill or something like that. Like, that doesn't really happen in this movie. And I cannot understand how the fuck this has like a cult following.
Oh, Vinegar Syndrome did like a limited edition 5 different slipcovers for it or something. They were probably like, Brad Pitt, man, that Brad Pitt brand's we're gonna sell a ton of them.
It's just you're watching it and you're like, oh, like, first thing you start to think is like, when is something going to happen? And then by the middle of the movie, you're like, when is it going to end? Like, that's how fucking it just drags on. Now, keep in mind, like, I know there's movies that we won't mention on here that are probably like, like stuff that, like, Camp Motion Pictures or something would put out.
Right.
But I'm talking more along the lines of like mainstream-ish kind of stuff that, had a pretty wide release that's fucking horrible.
Yeah, that may have been played at a movie theater at one point.
Yeah, at one time.
Or a drive-in, maybe, more than likely, some of this stuff. So, we got some more mentions on here real quick. The Hatchet Trilogy, or Quadrilogy. Yeah, I mean, the first Hatchet, a lot of people still put that movie over. But I couldn't believe it. That was like the worst false advertising for a slasher movie ever. It's more along the lines of something like Scary Movie or whatever. It's a horror comedy, I think.
Yeah, and actually it just keeps getting more and more ridiculous. Like, the only reason for those movies to exist were for the deaths. And I don't think that there was any, like, question about that that's what he was doing. I don't think he would even, like, deny it. Mm. Like, there's a paper-thin story that, like you said, was 100% ripping off Madman. And
what people don't remember, too, is that this movie had been hyped up for well over a year before it came out.
Yeah, so, we went to, like, shows where that was, like, the main thing about the show was them hyping up Hatchet, Right.
And Anchor Bay Booth would have, like, pretty much like a gore reel playing at one of those shows nonstop. It was like so hyped up for this movie to finally come out. Kane Hodder was he was Victor Crowley in it. So, to be honest with you, I think Hatchet 1 and 2 are kind of they're equally shitty from what I can remember. Now, I didn't watch the other two ones, the Hatchet.
It really does go downhill. Like, by the time you get to Victor Crowley, which was the last one, the final one, I guess. Like, that's fucking, like, the budget takes a nosedive and everything takes a nosedive,
If I'm not
It's
mistaken, though, the one thing I can remember, though, the first Hatchet movie, the makeup effects and the gore effects and Victor Crowley looked really good. Right?
It does, and it seems to like go down each consecutive time.
So
like,
the second one, it kind of noticeably worse, especially with Victor Crowley's look.
yeah.
So, and like I said, I passed on the Victor Crowler movie for $4 at Best Buy one time. So what does that say? On Blu-ray for $4.
Yeah, I don't think I would buy any of them because number one, they're on Amazon Prime, every one of them for free, like all the time. So
yeah, I wouldn't waste my bandwidth on it. I want to watch something on. I want to watch something on Pornhub.
Fucking shit.
Instead. So, yeah, the Hatchet movies definitely belong on there.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Grande's Graveyard. Yeah, we were talking about Final Terror, Scream Factory, or Shout Factory, whatever's got that one out. At least it wasn't a collector's edition. I mean, I think it's just a regular release. So, the Wrong Turn sequels,
I mean, yeah, you know, they suck, but like, they're kind of just, they're average in my opinion. Like, they're not fucking horrible to the point where you couldn't ever watch them again. Right. Well, I don't think I would watch them again, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but Hatchet, Sam Crow mentions it on here too. Hatchet was a comedy. I mean, it really was. It felt more like movie like Scary Movie or Shriek, if you know what I did last summer. It was basically it was a tongue-in-cheek kind of a spoof on a slasher movie. And if it was marketed that way, I may have liked it a little bit better than I did.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell really if he knew he was making it that bad or if that was just kind of like he was really trying to make like the best movie that he could, but just didn't know what he was doing. I don't know. The tone of the movie is very weird. It's all over the place. Like, sometimes it would be a comedy, and then sometimes it would be like try to be serious and dramatic, and I don't know.
Did you ever see the movie Trick or Treats?
No. Trick or Treats.
Yeah, this is one that it is bad. I think I've watched it one time. The guy that made it was like he was a porno director, I think. I think it was one of his, if I'm not mistaken, I think he directed a lot of porn. And he did the Trick or Treats movie. Yeah, it's kind of based around Halloween night, but that's about the only thing it's got going for it. But I haven't seen that one in forever, so. Here's another one, though, that I pulled out of the VHS shelf that I wanted to mention real quick on here. I think this one is out on Blu-ray, oddly enough. I think it's another one that Code Red released. Do you remember Hide and Go Shriek, Uncle Bill?
Hide and Go Shriek, Daddy. I do.
So this one's like another one where there's not a whole lot that actually happens in it. I think kids go into like a warehouse or something to party, and they go in the warehouse to party and fuck. And get picked
Don't they
off.
all? They always do that. Yeah.
The killer has that tattoo on his foot.
Look here.
The couple things I remember about this, other than it being extremely boring, but Sean Cannon was in this from Karate Kid Part 3, the bad boy karate, the karate's bad boy, Mike Barnes in Karate Kid 3. So he was in this right before Karate Kid 3. I cannot imagine John, whatever his name is, the director of the Karate Kid movies, seeing this movie and being that impressed. Let's hire him right now. He was so great.
Yeah, it's like John Avildsen or something like
John
that.
John Avildsen, yeah.
Avildine, something, I don't know. But yeah,
is he a slasher fan?
Speaking of which, I don't know if this is like well known, but you know he's coming back for the next season of Cobra Kai.
Well,
Like, I don't know if you keep up with it.
I knew Terry Silver was coming back, the sensei or whatever.
Oh, it is fucking Terry Silver, isn't it? I got the two of them confused.
Well, they
so
have
Mike Barnes is the kid.
Yeah, Mike Barnes
that
is
he
the kid.
gets. Okay, all right, yeah.
So I'm sure he's coming back too. He's Karate's bad boy. They can't say no to him. And
so I know.
I'd go Shriek. Who names that shit, by the way, too? Somebody in a boardroom is like, okay, it's a play off of Hide and Go Seek.
Yeah.
But this time, it's Hide and Go Shriek.
We're going to shriek because when they find you, you're going to scream. That's what we're going to call it.
Oh.
Let me see if you ever seen this one. I don't think we've ever talked about it on the show ever.
Yep.
And I think, and somebody can tell me if I'm right or wrong, because somebody out there owns this. I know they do. This came in one of those Shriek Show 3-pack things that they used to put out all the time. Like they had the cannibal one, and they would have like a slasher one, and then blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. But have you ever seen a movie called Girls Night Out?
Girls Night Out.
And if you have, you'll know immediately because it's got one of the fucking silliest goddamn gimmicks in it ever.
I don't think so. I mean, I think I know the one you're talking about, but I don't think I ever watched it.
Okay. So, the only thing I remember about this movie, other than the fact of just that it came in that 3-pack, is the killer is a dude, and I'm not fucking making this up, is a dude dressed in a bear suit that has like steak knives as like fucking paws, like Freddy Krueger glove, as a fucking, that's his gimmick.
Oh my god.
And you really,
I need to check this out now.
Yeah, you really have to see it.
Watch.
You really have to see it because I know that it sounds like it would be killer, but it's really not. It sounds like it would be on par with like
Berserker, right?
Berserker, yeah, but it's not.
Not as good as Berserker. Berserker's going to be on our best of slasher movies, by the way.
Yeah,
Not
yeah, it would be
about that one tonight. My Soul to Take, is that even a slasher movie? I guess kind of, right?
The Wes Craven one?
Yeah.
Dude, I'll be honest with you, like I'm struggling to remember what even the hell that movie was about, and we saw it in theaters.
We watched it the one time. I think it's like a murder mystery type deal or something. I don't know. Ken Carlson, I don't have any boys at Scream Factory. They all hate me, so they ain't gonna listen to a damn thing I say.
They fucking hate us really bad.
The Halloween 2, Halloween 3, The Fog. Yeah, you would think that they would have been right on that, but, you know, evidently not. But yeah, Girls Night Out, that's one that I'm going to have to check out for sure now. Who's got that out? Do you get the Blu-ray of it?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know if it has a Blu-ray. The only thing I've got is the DVD, like, and I swear to God, I think it was in a 3-pack that Shriek Show came out with. Like, I don't even remember what the other two movies were, but I remember, like, kind of the cover and it being in that. But I don't have a Blu-ray or anything of it.
This is from random Facebook user. Hey guys, good to see you here. I think that the Hatchet films are too comical. How do you feel about the Scream films? Well, we did a whole Scream retrospective a couple of months ago. But real quick though, I mean, I really like the first two. 3 I can kind of live with just because of Creed. Creed made 3.
Is that what made it?
4 is terrible. Like I think 4 is the worst one.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. Because it's not, number one, it's not really a traditional Scream movie, but it just also is way too fucking long and has way too many false endings, too.
Yeah, JP fan, thanks for reminding us. We did get robbed during the...
Was that the movie?
Yep, My Soul to Take. And my camera they did take. cocksuckers.
Oh my God! No wonder we don't remember the movie. Like right after we got out, we probably fucking.
I was so pissed off because that camera, man, we had just got that. Like we had that less than 6 months, I'd say.
Yep.
So, Darren Burroughs, man, you read my mind.
I knew you'd have that. I knew you'd have it.
Baby. Yeah. Since we're talking about Scream, this is definitely. I still have. Do you want to know a secret? As well, which that one would go on the list too. I don't really remember a whole lot about this. It's a Scream ripoff, and it's very Canadian, and it's from Key DVD back in the day. But I think it's it's pretty much just a Scream clone, Not very good. There were a few movies like this around this time period. But these were some of the early. Final Stab came out, what was the year in that? 2001. So yeah, this is right during the Scream heyday. And it was one of those movies that back in the day, it was a $5.88 bin for DVDs at Walmart, cheap ones, and that was just picked it up. Not very good. I always cracked up at the killer on it, which he does have a mask similar to this, but that's just some fucking painting or something there. Why couldn't they just have a picture of the mask?
No, they wanted to be artsy about the Final Stab.
But yeah, I think we had a double feature the night we watched that one and Do You Want to Know a Secret?
Secret?
Joey Lawrence movie.
I mean, I'll tell you a couple more that I could kind of lump into all that too, though. Is some of the sequels to some of the movies that ripped off Scream. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And what was the fucking last one? I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer or something like that. And,
hang on a second. We got a celebrity among us here. Facebook user is Kevin S. Tenney of the world famous Tenney Brothers.
Oh, hell.
We need to get Kevin Tenney and Denny Tenney on for a live stream sometime.
That's very true. It's good to have Kevin Tenney here.
Yeah. None of your films, Kevin Tenney.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, none of your films are on the list.
I don't know how many slasher movies you actually did, though. So.
I don't think very many.
Debbie Rashawn movies, we're not even going to get started. Because
Oh, God. That's what I mean. Like,
yeah, that'd be all night.
You could go through a million movies like that.
And it's nothing against Debbie Rashawn. I mean, she's got to make a living. That's basically why she's in, like, all them movies.
Right. But still.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on, like, some of the, like, Urban Legends, Final Cut, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and stuff like that. But they're universally pretty bad.
DEADPIT, sir, where are you from? Well, I'm from a small town in Appalachia. I do have an indoor toilet, if you're wondering.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Ain't you ever heard nobody talk like us, buddy? God! Holler at you, boy.
Well, sissy, we got a lot of wash to do.
Oh, so okay.
It's been a minute since somebody actually said that, but it feels good. It feels like home. Like, where the fuck are you from?
I'm getting ready to go. I'm getting ready to go and dig some coal off the side of the mountain so we can keep our house heated.
What's funny is I see somebody doing that about once every week, so that's not far from the truth.
I won't get me some Mountain Dew and a Snickers bar.
Fuck.
I'm from Eastern Kentucky, by God.
What is that fucking voice?
Well, I can talk about this now because that same voice it's I guess an ex-cousin-in-law Right? My cousin was married to this guy that talked exactly that way. So that's where I got it.
Are you serious? Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Oh! God! I can't work. It's called Grover.
God. Fucking call the heavy hitter. Shit.
Okay. Cut starring Molly Ringwald. I haven't seen that.
I gotta see that.
Bloodbeat. I think you've seen that one, have you, Uncle Bill? You bought it. I don't think I have. That's one that Vinegar Syndrome did.
Did I fuck about Bloodbeat?
Maybe you didn't. Maybe I'm thinking of something.
I don't think I did.
That's
How about Blood Hook?
Vinegar Syndrome has out, but I have not seen it. Halloween Resurrection. Yeah, you could definitely put that up there.
I'll tell you why that movie is so bad, though, in my opinion, is just because, like, you can clearly tell that the only, like Busta Rhymes was, like, the center of that whole movie. And they built that whole movie around him and, like, fucking kowtowed to everything about that. And I'm not sure why, like, you don't take a movie like that, really, like a franchise movie, and build it around, like, one famous person and have him be the fucking hero of the movie. Like, that's just insane, and just destroy the whole franchise because you can't say no.
Yeah. Tyra Banks, like, she got killed in it, but they didn't show her death, too. I wonder if that was her just kind of throwing a fit.
I feel like that whole movie was just a plug for, like, different people. There really wasn't anything else in that movie.
Yeah. What's funny is like a lot of these movies like that are universally shit on by people, there's still like a small base that like Jason X. Like Jason X now is starting to get some sort of love. Jason Goes to Hell. I don't know if anybody's ever defended Halloween Resurrection that I can remember.
I don't think you can. It's really bad, other than the mask looks horrible. The movie looks horrible, actually. Like, just the production of it. And all that shit with Busta Rhymes.
Valentine. I don't know if it was should be on the worst list.
I don't think I put it.
Good.
I would put it on there. Yeah. I mean, it's not a great movie, but it's not fucking like you feel like you've just been drained after you watch it or anything. But I tell you something though, that you know how you hate Sam Neill? Well, yes. I really fucking hate Katherine Heigl. Like, anything she's in, when I see her, I'm just like completely bummed out.
Lord, somebody's bringing up some Children of the Corn movies. Let's see what else I got here.
All right.
This is a random one because this is also from the 588 bin back in the day. From our good friends at York Entertainment. It may very well be the first movie I've ever seen Tiffany Shepis in. Scarecrow, Uncle Bill.
Oh, God, I remember that.
Do you remember the first? Well, I'm sure the second one's horrible too, Scarecrow Slayer. And they had a third one that I believe Ken Shamrock was in.
What?
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Holy shit.
The world's most dangerous man versus the Scarecrow. So, there's a few...
Scarecrow tap out.
Like, York Entertainment, for some reason, around... What year was this? This is like 2004. But I think they were financially backing some of these movies, and most of them were like urban setting, like urban type horror movies, right?
Yeah.
So the story with this one is, I think this guy's name, does it say on here? I don't remember what his name is. I'm thinking it's Lester or something like that. He's a high school kid, but he's obviously 35 years old in it. Do you remember? He was the one that gets picked on.
Yeah, yeah, I do.
So he gets picked on. Everybody kind of makes fun of him, kicks him on the ass, and pushes him down, and takes his lunch money and all that typical. But Tiffany Shepis kind of befriends him. She's the new hot girl in school and everything.
Right.
And then like
she's probably like 20, 28 or 29 at that time.
right. But I mean, she definitely looks a lot closer to high school age than, Geezer over there. Geezer Butler.
Yeah, that's true. That's Geezer.
But yeah, I think they play a prank on him or something. He gets killed, and he comes back as this Scarecrow, which I can't remember in the first movie, but eventually the Scarecrow is almost like a wisecracking, like one line.
I think
one-liners.
Yeah, they were going for like the Freddy approach.
Right.
Well, I don't know if that's the best approach to take.
And I gotta say, I mean, it's at least entertaining enough, but it's pretty horrible, to be honest with you. But it may be so bad it's kind of good. The first one, at least.
Did you ever watch the second one? Because I'm trying to remember if I ever actually did.
I think so, but I don't really remember it. I do remember the first one. I think I watched the first one a couple of times, 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And that's another series of movies that nobody references at all. I mean,
well, they were kind of like, they were kind of low budget. Like, I mean, you remember that movie Killjoy? Like, I put them in the same kind of category. Like, they're not really mainstream at all.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of along the lines like Bloody Murder and stuff like that, I guess.
Now, this one, I know you've seen, and I feel like you've got to agree with me on this, too. Return to Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, one of the worst characters ever in a slasher film. That fucking, the fat kid that's like tortured, throughout it, and just has like the worst personality.
What was the thing that he kept saying in it?
I wish I could remember, but I can't. But I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
But just everything. Okay, number one, like there was no budget. Everything looked like it was filmed on video or something. Even then, and just that character was fucking awful, and you couldn't feel any sympathy at all for anything going on in that movie.
That movie had been it had been canned for years and years, or maybe like most of it had been finished, but. Like, it was like a 4 or 5 year delay there before it came out. Maybe they finished it or something like that. But, yeah, I mean, it's not very good. It's something about ass or something he keeps saying.
Yeah, he keeps saying, it's like an insult or something, but I can't remember what he says. You reference it in the review that we did of it, though. I remember that.
Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, that's a tough one. That's one that I'd probably never, ever go back and rewatch.
No, I don't think I can.
If I'm not mistaken now, I think somebody had finished Sleepaway Camp 4 and released it. Like with that, you remember that footage that you got with the box set from Best Buy?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know what the story is with that, but I did hear that somebody had finished filming it, and basically there's nothing really to. All the footage was some girl sitting on a dock or something. That's all I can remember.
I think we talked to Felsher or somebody about that at one time, didn't we? About like that they had that footage for some reason, and like I don't know why nothing else was ever really filmed.
Yeah.
But it's be honest with you, like those films, like I love the second one and the third one. It takes a pretty big nosedive, but by that fourth fucking thing, that was just one of those movies where they like the horror was really popular. They were trying to cash in on it. They don't really even have a movie. They just got a bunch of shit kind of thrown together, and they put it out.
Garrett's on here. He's saying that Scarecrow was hard to find back in the day. Not here. I mean, I guess it depends on the time you're looking for it, because that one was all over the $5 bin at Walmart, $5.88 bin.
I remember picking that up around Halloween too, like in the bin. Like it would always come back around, like at that time.
JP Fan is just, he's a damn psychic tonight. He's picking all the ones that I pulled.
Listen.
I'm on my way.
I would not put that one in this list though, because it's shitty as fuck. I agree with you, but just the fact it's got him in it, and he's like a PCP addict or something. He keeps shooting up like throughout the whole movie,
and the mistake that's in it. The meme guy with the guitar, like basically his entire. We're talking about Home Sweet Home. His entire purpose in that movie, all he does is he carries around a guitar with a little amp, and he goes,
yeah,
pisses people off and like runs away, playing these little licks.
And he does that completely through the film too. Like plays 10 times and just fucking leaves.
Something that's funny too about some of these media home entertainment movies. Don Edmonds has something to do with almost every damn one of them, right? He is starring in this, and he is the director of this. So he must have had some sort of 15-picture deal at Media Home Entertainment back in the day.
I don't understand. Like, I mean, yeah. Doesn't he shoot up like drugs on his tongue or something in that movie too?
Yeah.
That's so great.
And, well, he was kind of unknown then, I guess. We're talking about Body by Jake.
Yeah. Yeah.
But later on, 5 years later when everybody knew him, I mean, that's kind of funny. It'd be hilarious to watch that for the first time and be like, what the hell? Because he looks exactly like, he did in the glory days of Body by Jake. So, but yeah, I mean, Home Sweet Home, it may not, I don't even know, like, I guess it is a slasher movie, but there's not a whole lot of killing that goes on in it, really.
Does it take place around Thanksgiving too?
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving Day, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't know if it's like a holiday slasher film per se, like kind of like Silent Night, Deadly Night or something like that. I'm not sure how you would qualify that movie.
It doesn't really feel like it's Thanksgiving because it looks like it's actually in the summer or something when they're filming it. But I think it's out on the West Coast, so.
Well, okay. I'm curious if you've ever seen this movie too, because I don't think we've ever talked about it. The next one that I'm going to talk about, or if we've ever even brought it up. American Psycho 2.
Yeah, it's the one with Mila Kunis is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I think I actually have it on DVD. That's another one of those too that it feels like it was never out. Like you never hear anybody talk about it.
It's true, and it's like many of the other films on this list. Like it's pretty boring, and they take the same concept, but they just introduce like a female, like as they did with American Psycho, and narcissistic kind of character and things like that, but flip it around, turn into a female, and it's another one where it's just really slow, really bad, and just boring. I think all these movies have that in common, at least, is that they're, except maybe Home Sweet Home, although it's pretty fucking boring in the middle parts too. Like, but in the beginning, he runs over like a grandma, and like there's all kinds of stuff that happens. But anyway, like nothing really significant happens in American Psycho 2. That's why nobody remembers it.
Yeah, it came out right after the first one too. It was within a year, right? Wasn't it within a year of the first movie coming out?
Well, maybe a couple of years, but maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically what they tried to do is just a lower budget American Psycho with a girl. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
And I'm assuming they had no idea that American Psycho would be popular or like a success in that way. And they probably just really quickly tried to ride that out.
This is interesting. Indy Phantom said he found a stack of Clownhouse DVDs at Walmart shortly after it was pulled. Yeah, you probably should have bought them all.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Clownhouse here in a little bit, but yeah.
What do those go for now? I'm curious.
I think about $60, $70. But if you just want to watch the movie, the exact same disc is on Amazon for like $10. Or you can go on the DEADPIT Roku channel and watch it. It's on there if you don't want to spend anything.
You can do that.
Somebody was asking about a couple. Let's see here. I'm behind on these. Sleepaway Camp. No, you're not going to talk about Sleepaway Camp 2 or 3. Both of those are great. I wouldn't put either of those on there.
No. I mean, because they're purposely kind of bad, but in a great way.
Yeah, I mean, they're entertaining. The death scenes are all pretty good, from what I can recall. This was the line, "Your ass stinks," from Return to Sleep.
That was it, yeah. Your ass stinks.
And this was the kid that we were supposed to feel sorry for this little asshole kid that told everybody, "Your ass stinks."
Just the most annoying fucking kid ever, too.
I don't even consider Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies slasher movies, though. Somebody's bringing up Next Generation on here, Sam Crow. Technically, maybe they are slasher movies, but I never saw any of those Chainsaw films as slasher, traditional slasher movies.
It is a bad fucking movie, though. Like, there's just no two ways around it.
Yeah. Well,
I've tried to watch that.
That was
so many different times.
It was shelved for like years until I think the only reason it came out is because Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey became like stars, and they were like, "Oh, let's," they put their face on the front of it. So
has to be, yeah.
Let's see here. Psycho remake. Yeah, I guess Psycho would be considered a slasher. The Psycho remake is pretty horrible as well, no doubt. I didn't buy that for $8. Scream Factory had that sale, and I was like, man.
I watched that again not too long ago. It is like really disturbingly bad, and it really shouldn't be because it's like shot for shot. But there's something about Vince Vaughn's performance in it that's just really off somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how to explain, but it comes across really flat when you watch it.
So, this next one here, I want to bring up. I don't think if we've talked about it, it was right after I bought this, and we were talking about briefly, but this is a 2-pack that Cinema Pops come out with, Uncle Bill. You remember them? I don't.
No.
This was one of the only releases that I think they ever did. It's a 2-pack. Both of them are freaking terrible. But the one in particular that I wanted to talk about was Terror at 10 Killer. You remember that one?
I remember the cover. Yeah.
The Terror at 10 Killer and The Last Slumber Party.
Is that called something else too? Terror at 10 Killer? Because I remember that fucking cover, but I don't remember that being the name.
It probably was. I'm not really sure. So, I mean, Terror at 10 Killer, the weird thing about this one is, so it's definitely a slasher movie. The plot, I think these two girls are going to work at a lake restaurant or something like that. And one of them has an abusive boyfriend they're getting away from or whatever. And they come and meet, I think it's somebody that's helping out at the dock, and you immediately find out that he is the killer pretty much immediately, and there's really nothing else, there's no surprises or anything. There's a lot of these slasher movies too that we're going to be talking about that there's not a gimmick to the killer. They don't have a mask, there's not a story there. It was just some random dude that pumps gas at this freaking boat, restaurant, whatever it was. So, also another one of those movies too that's dark. You can't hardly see anything that's going on. The best thing about Terror at 10 Killer is the cover. The cover is pretty awesome. I don't think this one has ever been released on anything else. I think it's the only time it's received a release. Now, Last Did you ever watch Tarot 10 Killer? Do you remember it at all or anything?
I don't remember it, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very memorable. It's got some terrible acting in it as well. Like Troll 2.
Level?
Almost Troll 2 level, yeah. But
Shit.
I think The Last Slumber Party was one of those movies that half of it was made in like 1981. The other half was made in like 88. So there's like a noticeable fashion difference there. And I think some of it was shot on VHS and some of it was shot on film.
That, yeah, sounds amazing.
So,
edited together anyway.
It's only 72 minutes long, too. It said it was written and directed by Steven Tyler. That couldn't be the same guy.
I pray to God it is.
It could.
Like, let that be. Yeah.
But this is a good, double feature of pure shit if you want to experience some bad slasher movies. Especially if you're a fan of, like, the Slumber Party Massacres and just want to see some sort of generic version of that.
So would you consider, I'm curious too, because, like, there's some of them that I thought about, but I wasn't sure if they really would qualify as being, like, under a fucking slasher film. But would you consider The Tooth Fairy to be a slasher film or, like, a monster film?
The Tooth Fairy. Are you talking about the one that Anchor Bay come out with back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would kind of be a slasher movie.
I would put that on there just for, like, how fucking brutally horrible that was, too.
I wonder who owns... So, like, I was talking to Slippy. Slippy did a stream a little bit earlier today. He ain't gonna tell me shit.
No.
I think Lionsgate owns a lot of that Anchor Bay Stars stuff. I'm almost positive. So,
like, you mean a lot of the ones that...
Well, they
like
own
that, like
they
those.
own Halloween. Halloween was Anchor Bay.
Yeah.
Oh shit. So, am I froze?
You're froze on mine.
Hang on a second.
Somebody's gonna get their ass whipped. Somebody's gonna get their wig split. So anyway, while we're awaiting his return here, I'll bring up some other ones of honorable mention. And, oh God, he's back.
I'm back.
Get the fuck out of me.
I'm the man behind the hat. So what was you saying about we want to see a Tarot 10 Killer 4K from Vinegar Syndrome?
Probably. Yeah.
Probably should.
But anyway, what about Slippy though? That he was just talking about that they owned the...
Yeah, I was
Right,
like, so we've got the Wraith coming out from Vestron. They announced that. So
Yeah.
he is working on 3 Vestron releases right now. He wouldn't tell me what it was. And he doesn't know when they're going to be out. He just said that he's got 3 and it sounds like they're almost done. So it'd be interesting to see if Lionsgate would attempt to release any of these, independent movies that Anchor Bay released back in the day, like, Tooth Fairy. They also did some that were a little bit, more well received. What was the Tucker and Dale versus Evil? That was one of theirs, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I actually really liked that movie too.
Yeah. Jack
That
Brooks'
wasn't
Monster Slayer was another one.
I actually liked that one. Yeah.
So, I mean, stuff like that would, I think, would go over pretty well.
That's definitely true. Like, I didn't know who owned all that shit now. Like, after that had gone defunct.
Greg
Anchor
Caldwell was asking about the Nightmare on Elm Street box set. I think they're working on that, but I don't know if it's going to be coming out this soon.
Well, you
I
can
don't
about
know for a
guarantee
fact
they
they're
are.
working on it, but I'm pretty sure they're working on it.
Just based off how he acts when you ask him that question. I can say that they probably are. Because you know, he won't say anything, but it's just like just the facial expressions and everything.
Yeah. So, how many more you got, Uncle Bill, on this worst?
I actually don't have any.
We'll go some.
I actually don't have any more.
We'll go through these last two that I've got here, because we are going to be talking about Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It as well. So, I'll just go through these ones kind of quick. This one right here, again, I don't know if you consider Texas Chainsaw a slasher movie, then this one's got to be up there. Lunch Meat, man. It's so terrible. You can't help but kind of like it. It's just it's almost like they gave just some dumbass and his friends money to go out and film a bunch of stuff and make some sort of stupid movie about it. That's basically what Lunch Meat is. I think the killers, they cut up the bodies and make hamburger meat or something out of it, is the plot. Yeah. And this is one that had never been released since VHS. And I don't think it's, according to Lewis Justin, we asked him about it one time, there's no way this one can ever come out. I don't know why exactly, but he said that this Lunch Meat will never come out. That's what he said.
We need to get a scoop on that and figure out why that is.
We could. I mean,
never see Lunch Meat.
Do some research. We'll do a Tragedies in Tinseltown special on
Lunch
Meat. It's a tragedy. It never come out. Oh, no.
That'll be the best one.
The other one, this one goes out to Dana again, because I know she loves this movie for some damn reason. Happy birthday, Dana. It is Final Exam.
I tried to find that earlier just so I would have it, because I know I've got the DVD of it and couldn't find it. But 100%, like, yes. That's one of those movies, though, that's kind of like Madman is to us. Because there's a lot of people that fucking hate Madman and say it's like one of the worst slashers. But then it has like a separate group of people that think it's great. It's probably as big of two of those groups. But I think Final Exam is the same way. There's people that love that.
Man, it's got the worst tagline too, right? Some may pass the test. God help the rest.
Yeah.
Oh!
God.
So this is another one where the killer just ends up being some random dude.
Yeah. Yep.
And I know some people like some of the characters in the movie and all that. It is Canadian. It's another one that's very Canadian.
It looks Canadian too.
Yeah, it looks like it was shot on like the same set. You can't do that on television. Was shot on.
Very industrial looking. Like it looks like it was filmed like. When I see movies like that, it always reminds me of like Romero's really early stuff. I don't know why, but like they all have that look, very industrial look.
Boring, terrible. They fake a school shooting in it. Do you remember this?
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
They fake a school shooting?
I think this is the one that fakes a school shooting, if I'm not mistaken. But this was in 1981, I think. 1980 or 81. Yeah, so Final Exam, terrible.
I just remember it being just relentlessly boring.
It is.
And then there's no surprise at the end. Like you said, there's nothing. There's no payoff to it either.
Yeah, Mr. Ooh La La confirms that Final Exam fakes the school shooting. That was in there. Born to Be Rad's asking about Sledgehammer. That's the shot on video movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, those shot on video movies are. I don't really remember Sledgehammer that much. Maybe that's why, but there was another one that it was called Boarding House. It was shot on video.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Did Code Red put that out too?
Yeah, Code Red put it out, and then that Slasher Video put out like a director's cut of Boarding House that was like 4 hours long.
No.
It was like directed by Zack Snyder or something.
No. That's another one I remember watching and just being amazed how bad it was.
JP fan, another super chat. Thank you, sir. Madman fan commentary someday. I say yes.
That's always a movie that you could watch, yeah.
That's a fun movie. I gotta say too, man, like I know like it's a mixed bag with Madman, but everyone that I've ever shown that movie to has loved it, that as far as I know. So I don't know what the deal is. I mean, it just has a classic kind of like story that never really gets old, and it's just, you know. Yeah. Cosmo Bub is with us. He said, "Who says Madman is bad? I'll fucking fight him."
I'm trying to remember who used to say that all the time, though. Like, that was in our circle or whatever. It was somebody.
So, I mean, Madman does have some hokey stuff in it, but I think it works for the movie. I think that the tone in Madman is what I love so much about it. With that that creepy music, it all takes place in one night. The way that they did the campfire story and all that in the beginning, y'all know I love it, but JP fan says that you guys introduced me to Madman. Well, thank you, sir. Hopefully we introduced quite a few people to that movie, because I'd never heard anybody reference it back in the day, and now it's kind of, a little bit more loved, maybe.
Yeah. A lot of those old 80s slashers that got picked up finally, through DVD, they actually get like a second look now, and people kind of become cult classics. They kind of latch onto them.
Yeah, for sure. Madman, Vinegar Syndrome's got a killer release. It was one of their early releases, and it has that documentary that we were in. I mean, quite a bit, I think, and we got to help kind of put that together back in the day. So
yeah,
that was a lot of fun as well. And I think what helps too is, the people from the movie are so cool. Like Paul Ehlers, the guy that played Madman.
Yeah.
He sent me Christmas cards for years. I still talk to him on a regular basis. Have his son on Facebook, talk to him. So that kind of makes it even cooler, that the people in the movie are, just basically friends. You're friends with them now on Facebook or whatever. So, Prom Night. That's an interesting one. I like Prom Night. I
do too. The Prom Night remake is probably, like, I know we're going to mention remakes, but like that and April Fool's Day are probably two of the worst remakes, slashers of all time. Just horrible fucking films.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of them around that same time period that were... they were bad.
You could literally sit here and name like 20 of them if you wanted to.
We could do a part 2 of this show probably if we prepared. But I mean, I think that you were the one that wanted to do something slasher related, and I think people really, really seem to, there's a lot of slasher fans that are.
Yeah, like we were talking about, do like a 3-part kind of show, right? And I don't know if we still may do this at some point, like in terms of like have another part of it where you do like the worst ones, the best ones, and then like the unknown ones that are still worthwhile.
Yeah, ones
try to do something like that.
People may not have seen, underrated, the best, the worst, So yeah, hopefully everybody enjoyed. It's always fun talking about these movies, even the ones that are so horrible, because I've been watching Tear It 10 Killer on my other screen over here while we've been. That one's almost good enough to do a commentary over, as far as just so horrible. It's like, I can't see what's going on.
I'm telling you one we need to do a commentary about, too. At some point, we need to do Spookies.
Yeah,
we need to do a commentary over Spookies. I'm telling you.
We'll do some spooky commentary. Spookies commentary, so. But yeah, I mean, it's always fun talking about slasher movies, and everybody, like the genre. It's probably the most popular subgenre of horror, I would say.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
definitely.
you?
Yeah, there's nothing even close. I don't know what it is about that particular style of movies, but they're the most popular by far.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's always been that way as well. So, but yeah, we did have one other thing we were going to talk about on here, and I took notes. I've got them over here.
Well, I just watched it, so it's like fresh in my mind. I'm hoping I can.
So, we're going to talk about the new Conjuring movie that debuted on HBO Max and in theaters simultaneously over the weekend. And The Conjuring 3, right? I lost track because they've got Conjuring. It was just The Conjuring, and then The Conjuring 2, right? And then you had Annabelle Comes Home, Annabelle Creation. You've got The Nun in 3D. You've got Curse of Lorna, or whatever the hell that Mexican one was, right? How many damn Conjuring movies are there?
There's a lot of them. Most of them suck.
Yeah, they sure do. Michael Chaves, this is the same guy that did Curse of Lorna, or La Lorna, or whatever the hell it's called. How do you pronounce that? Do you know?
I don't know. La Lorna.
So,
Lorna.
The Devil Made Me Do It, right? This is one that was another, I think it was a true story, where it was the first case in the U.S. where somebody had pleaded not guilty by reason of demonic possession, Uncle Bill.
Yeah.
And of course, the, what is the couple's name? I've got it here.
The Warrens.
The Warrens. Yeah, the Warrens. They were involved somehow, so, go ahead, go on.
So, the beginning of the movie is probably, like, I was really fucking excited when I watched the beginning of this movie because it's pretty killer, actually. Like, it's an exorcism, and there's like I don't know, what would you say, 7, 8-year-old kid or something like that that's possessed.
He's a demonic Paul Jackson.
Nobody will ever get that reference but us, but it's true. This is this demonic little kid who's like spinning around and contorting, and his head's bursting into flames and all this stuff. And halfway through the exorcism, he jumps on top of oh god damn it, what's his name? What is his name? Patrick
Wilson.
Patrick Wilson, yeah. And like stops his heart, or tries to stop his heart. And this is an important plot point to the movie, I guess. And then he's got an older brother that grabs him, and the demon gets into the older brother, and then Patrick Wilson has a heart attack. So that's the beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. And it kind of goes away like the demon does, so you're to be made to assume kind of that it's gone, but like the Warrens know that it's not gone, and yada yada yada, and they're in the hospital trying to piece together what exactly happened. I guess that's the beginning of the movie, which is the best part of the movie.
Right. I mean, the opening about 15, 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And then you get to, it is the brother, the sister of the brother's boyfriend is the one that gets possessed, or gets the demon penetrates him or whatever.
Right. There's nothing worse than demon penetration.
Yeah. And they also have some sort of, like, it's not a traditional, like a demon that's, I don't know what you would say, but it was summoned. It was a demon that was summoned by a witch.
Right.
There's witchcraft in the film. So they find these, what do they call them? Little
artifacts.
Artifacts or totem. I think
totems.
Totem.
Yeah.
So Jason Payne is on here. He says that he loves demon penetration. We know Jason Payne.
Yeah, we
demon penetration and White Castle cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
So
I still don't even get started.
What's funny is it's like I actually finally admitted to him that I did not stick the cheeseburger between my ass cheeks. That was part of our reconciliation, if you will.
That's nice. It's like Dr. Phil. All
I
the stories are coming out now.
It's like no, it's like Bill Clinton. That cheeseburger was not in my ass.
I got to give you credit though. You really stuck to that story for a long fucking time.
I was like 13 years or so. That's pretty hardcore for a joke. However long ago it was. So.
Yeah, good job.
But yeah, there's these the totems that are placed by this witch, right? And there's just all kinds of just stupid shit thrown in there that like, okay, the basis of this story was real, right? This guy pled not guilty by reason of demonic possession. That happened.
Right.
A lot of this other shit never happened. I'm sorry. It was just, they used it to season a better movie. Make a better movie out of it.
Well, that's the thing about all those movies. The Conjuring movies, they're all supposed to be based on a true story, but like, they take a little bit of the truth and then they just exaggerate the fuck out of everything else. They've all done that. But this one is just... So, like, after all that happens, that's the part that kind of gets me, because then it goes into, like... So the guy who's inhabited by the demon summon witch thing is just kind of losing his mind, and then goes off and kills his friend, stabs him to death, and then, like you said, like, he's in prison and pleads guilty by demonic possession. And then basically the cops say to the Warrens, like, it's up to you to prove that he was actually possessed or he's going to get the death penalty. Mm-hmm. And then I swear to God, with no exaggeration, the rest of the movie is like an hour of just jump scare setups. That's the part that really pissed me off. Like, every other part of that movie after that is just a lame-ass mystery about who this witch is, mixed with every, like, one scene to the next is a setup for the next jump scare. And I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm an adult. I don't give a fuck about jump scares at this point in my life. I don't think many people do either, unless you're 10. Like, it's fucking... Oh.
Yeah, the movie's almost 2 hours long, right? I think it is. It feels like, okay, the first half hour or so, I was like, this it could end up being pretty good. But no. Like, the second half of it, you could tell they threw a lot of stuff in there that never happened to try to make a better movie. The witchcraft stuff, throwing that in there, like, it just... Why was that even important?
It wasn't. And honestly, like, when it came around to what the reveal was about that, not to give it away or anything, but I was like, who the fuck gives a shit? Like, who would care about that?
Right. And there's the scene, too, where Lorraine, what's her name, Lorraine, is pulled off of the cliff by a demon.
There's a scene where a little kid gets fucking almost dragged into a waterbed. I was like, is this what we're doing?
Total rip-off of Nightmare on Elm Street. Or maybe Nightmare on Elm Street ripped it off, because this technically happened in 1981. And Wes Craven heard about that and was like, that'd be a good scene in a movie.
But that's that when you get to a point where, like, the jump scare is a fucking arm coming up out of a waterbed, then you've exhausted all of your jump scares at that point. You probably need to stop. Like, it just... The movie aggravated me on so many levels just because of how dumb it is. It's like Army of the Dead. Like, it's just what they're doing now. They're just making movies just fucking... just stupid people? Is that what's going on? That just want to be... Not to say if you like this movie that you're stupid, but it appears that this movie is being made for like a generic audience of like what they think like a generic horror audience wants to see, which is a jump scare like every 5 minutes. And I swear to God, you could probably time it, and it would be like every 7 or 8 minutes. There's something in a mirror, something coming up out of the ground, or a bed, or fucking. There's some dude sitting up in a prison, and then he backs up, and then there's some dude behind him. It's like, God damn! Like, how many times did you see that in that movie? Like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it gets to be too much. I mean, pretty much every other scene is a jump scare throughout it. But yeah, I mean, The Conjuring, I didn't want to turn it off, but at the same time, as I was watching it, it was like, I'm never ever going to rewatch it. And I think that's I've never done, like, I remember the second one now was it was in Britain, wasn't it? Wasn't it British?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I remember it now. I never want to go back and watch that again because I remember how bad it was. So The first Conjuring movie is still by far the best one. No surprise. But I haven't seen I got to admit, I haven't seen all the Annabelle movies or the Nun. I haven't checked that one out yet.
I haven't seen them either. I've seen the first couple, and actually I think Savannah likes those movies like 1,000 times more than I do. Any of the Annabelle movies I actually have seen the Nun, come think of it. But the Nun 2.
Jason Payne is asking what you look for, or Zombie Collector, sorry, what you look for in quality horror films nowadays, knowing that you've seen almost everything that's out there.
Well, like, I hate this fucking phrase, but I don't know how else to impart like what I'm trying to say. But there's a phrase going around right now that I wish there was a different phrase for it, but I can't think of it. Like it's called elevated horror, which basically just means like horror with a fucking story that's not made for a kindergartner. Like, that's kind of what I look for. And if you're not going to do that, if you're not going to try to make something original or that has like some sort of depth to it or layers to it, then you need to make like a balls to the wall fucking movie that, is like Evil Dead 2 with practical effects and shit like that. But that's actually what I'm looking for. I either want to be really entertained, like a roller coaster ride, or I want some sort of substance in the movie. But what I don't want is some lame ass combination of both those, trying to do both those things, where you try to like use CG to put in like 1,000
Am I froze? Can you guys still hear me? Hello? Oh, okay. Uncle Bill is froze. I was just making sure because sometimes you can't tell on this sort of thing. Okay. Uncle Bill, you're froze, buddy. Jeez. I think he's getting ready to come back. The demons crawled up his dick hole or into his Wi-Fi, sorry. So, yeah, Grande's Graveyard, The Lodge, and The Lighthouse. I've seen The Lodge. The Lodge is very good. I've heard good things about The Lighthouse. Have not checked that one out, though. Yeah, Ari Aster's movies. I mean, I can kind of see that. Let's see here. I think we've got Uncle Bill back. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. Who's to say? What's up, Roland 666? Ari Aster's movies are... I can see how they're kind of pretend. I enjoy his movies, though. So far, at least. Uncle Bill, if you can hear this, it still says your device is not connected, so I'm not really sure what's going on. I want to make a prediction, though, while we're waiting on Uncle Bill to get back in here. So, we've got another 4 months or so until Halloween season goes in full effect, if you will. So, Halloween Kills is coming out in the fall. I don't know if they've probably got a date sometime in October. So, I see Halloween Kills possibly being the movie that rejuvenates the box office a little bit. Like I think it's going to be the biggest moneymaker if they do it correctly, marketing wise and all that. Post pandemic. I know the pandemic's not over or anything, but you know. So that'll be interesting if that actually happens. Cosmo Bubba. I will say that I like the first half of Hereditary, but it went downhill for me when it stopped being about the family falling apart and turned into the devil chasing them. Yeah, I can understand that. So I'm not sure if Uncle Bill's going to be back with us or not. His tin can internet may have went out. JoJo, who is JoJo Siwa? That tells you how to touch I am. So, we still got 55 people in here. So while we're waiting, and you guys can continue on with your questions or whatever you got, and I'll wait around here for another couple minutes. There's a ton of stuff on the Patreon page. I'm actually thinking I'm putting up way too much stuff. But if you guys haven't checked it out, we have exclusive weekly podcasts up on there. The first 150, I think like 158 DEADPIT Radio shows are up on there. Over 100 of the midweek shows. We have like 20 some odd Eurocult shows. 70 some odd fan commentaries. It's loaded, so if you want to check it out, DEADPIT on patreon.com. Midweek Obliteration podcast every week on there too, so it's definitely worth $5. My brother-in-law just said the new Conjuring movie isn't too bad. It isn't too good either, so... JoJo Siwa is some kid that got famous on YouTube and the Disney Channel. A little blonde girl with a huge bow in her hair. Yeah. Zombie Collector is on a lot of those shows, yes. We actually... I found a lot of the Horror Hound Weekend stuff that I think Jason recorded just for the DEADPIT show. So, a lot of the convention podcast items that we did. I've got the Scarefest 08 one that I'm putting up on Tuesday. But, oh!
God damn it.
Yeah.
I had to reset the whole fucking computer.
Hey, it's a damn tin can internet.
The fuck? Oh, hold on. God damn.
Hello.
Hello. All right, I'm back. I don't even know what the fuck we were talking about.
You ever seen Big Abner?
Big Abner.
So, I was just putting over the Dead Pit on Patreon page, Uncle Bill. We got songs up on there, too, that we were putting up. Like, Sticky Fingers.
I heard that again. Like, I probably hadn't heard that in 10 years. And I was like, that's such a fucking hilarious idea to do a song about just that one line in that movie.
Hey!
I need a tiny cut.
Bitch got cut.
But you know what's funny? I'm just amazed that Sticky Fingers didn't have a bigger film career than like the 2 or 3 horror films that he made.
That's enough. He become a legend based on that.
So. Yeah. He's fucking...
I'm watching the Last Slumber Party over here, though. It does have the girl from Creep Show 2 in it. The one that's in the raft that gets all that sludge and shit all over her face. She's in it.
Yeah.
Redheaded girl.
Well, that's good.
Somebody's asking about the Finger Fuck Yourself song. I'll have to find that. Because that's different than...
Go fuck yourself, yeah.
You will go fuck yourself.
Fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, there's lots of songs on there, too, though, like the Hellord stuff. I recently found a pretty decent version of Beyond the Valley of the Blood Gnome, Uncle Bill. That one will be coming up maybe sometime this week.
That's another one. I get that one and the Hellion confused about how they go. I get all the ballads confused a little bit.
I can't even remember what the hell the Hellion is. I'm going to have to go back and try to find it.
Which one is it that goes like, we are the creatures of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that the Hellion?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
You remember that? It goes like, something like, take a number, you've been chosen, or something like that.
Yeah. I don't think I have that on any hard drive or anything, though. If I get that, I'm going to have to rip it from a cassette tape.
Like it's fucking 1985.
If I have a CD of it somewhere, I do have some CDs that I haven't looked at, so.
I do remember that.
Jason Payne is asking about the Debbie Rochon song. Yeah, I think we've got that one. It might already be on there. I'm not sure. What song? What was the song? It was In the Heat of the Moment. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, but yeah.
I sit here thinking about just the fucking lyrics to the Dead Pit on the Road. That always fucking kills me when I think about it, too. For anybody that's curious, like, you should go try to decipher what the lyrics are to the fucking Dead Pit on the Road theme song.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. If you slow it down, you can kind of make out what's said.
Well, this is the best shit ever.
But yeah, I mean, we appreciate everybody coming. We had a pretty big crowd in here all night tonight. So we are going to be doing, we talked about this for a while, the show on Victor Salva and Clown House. That's going to be the next one that I think Thursday coming up, Thursday night, right?
Yeah. As Eric Bischoff said, controversy creates cash. So we're hoping that these controversial, shows will generate not cash per se, but
clicks.
People coming and watching them.
Controversy creates clicks.
That's right. It's the new book.
So yeah, I mean, if you want an idea on what this show will be, we did a Twilight Zone, the movie episode, and it is on the main Dead Pit YouTube page. Check that out. It's another Dead Pit Tit special. Tragedies in Tinseltown. Ain't that catchy?
It is.
Yeah.
That sounds like an E fucking True Hollywood Stories. Tragedies in Tinseltown.
On this week's Tragedies in Tinseltown on the E Entertainment Network. Doodly-doo.
It's Victor Salva's old fucking pervy ass.
So yeah, Clown House. We're going to talk about Victor Salva. We're going to be reviewing Clown House. Talking about all the controversy, the movie being pulled, all that stuff. Scream Factory getting ready to release it, not releasing it. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with Clown House. So that'll be coming up Thursday around 9 o'clock as well. So if you want to check that out, that'll be a fun show. I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm going to try to watch that movie again this week.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of these shows too that are kind of research heavy, where you got to go back and like watch them and then do research about everything that happened. Like definitely the Twilight Zone one and this one too. So hopefully everybody enjoys the fact that we're going to waste a lot of our time trying to figure this shit out.
Well, I researched all of this at work, so I'm getting paid to do it.
It's like taking a shit at work. I'm getting paid to take a shit. Look here.
Also, we're going to be announcing what the next one is, because we've already come up with what the third one will be, but it may be a couple of months down the line. I think that one's going to be real fun to do, too.
Yeah, I like the idea of it anyway, so hopefully people will enjoy it.
Yeah. So, that is it.
If they don't, I'll fuck you then.
Yeah, DEADPIT on Patreon.com. Appreciate everybody joining us. It is the Creepy Kentuckian.
I'm Uncle Bill.
Y'all know us from DEADPIT.com. Bye.